Let's organize your files in the cloud. Hi, I'm Nate Law from coachlaw.biz, and please like and subscribe so you can get more videos to help you run the most efficient and profitable law firm possible. Let's jump into how to organize our files. Whether you're in the cloud or you're on a regular Windows, Apple system, whatever you're on, there's one way you ought to be doing it. Let's keep it simple and talk through all the steps. So I'm going to walk you through the 3 basic pieces that you need to know in order to have a coherent and consistent file structure firm-wide that everybody can access, that everybody knows where to find things, and makes it easy and simple as you go about your day-to-day. So number 1 is your broader overall firm file structure. Number 2 is your individual client file structure. And number 3 is how to name individual documents. So first, your firm file structure. You have your cloud system, you have your server on site, whatever it is, great. You've got, let's say, unlimited storage. Storage is not a problem, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't have it all organized. So 2 things for client folders. First, you want to have a major file folder for active clients, and then have another one for inactive or closed clients. Now you could have a third one. The third one could be for consults, people that never ultimately hired you. That could be a third one if you want to have that as a separate category. I find that pretty useful. Now within each one of those folders, so let's say within your active client folder, you can either leave all of your client names in there, and that's just how you locate them. If you have a bigger firm, or let's say several very distinct practice areas where there might not be a lot of overlap between your clients, then you could either break it out by attorney, so whoever the primary attorney responsible for that client matter is, or you could break it down by practice area. So we do break it down by practice area because that's something that is pretty distinct. We have a few different very distinct practice areas for us, and so that helps our staff be able to navigate and manage that a little bit easier. So one big benefit of separating out the active clients from the inactive or closed client folders is that once you close a client matter, you can simply move it, drag and drop into the inactive folder, and you don't have to spend a lot of time changing the folder, doing anything to it. You simply have it in there, you know where it's at, and then it's saved there until the time where you don't have to keep it anymore and you're able to destroy the digital file. So moving on to number 2, you have your individual client folder. How do you organize it? How many levels do you have in there? And how do you keep it consistent across all of your client folders so that everyone in your firm knows how to access it, knows where to look for specific documents? I've found that there are 7 basic subfolders within each client folder that cover virtually anything, any situation that comes up. So the 7 categories would first be correspondence, discovery, docs from client, drafts, notes and research, orders, and pleadings. So those are the 7 key subcategories within your client folder that are going to cover virtually any type of situation or any documents that you either create or that are coming into you. And if you think of another way or another file type that you want to add to that, feel free to do it. But don't have more than 8 or 9 of these in there, because you don't want to have a situation where people are looking for a document and they think, well, it fits in like 4 of these categories. So you don't want to be in that kind of situation. You don't want to have to create additional unnecessary training or lists of things for your staff and your team members to have to sift through in order to find a specific type of document. You want to keep it as simple as possible. Now, the third area that needs to be the most consistent and can be kept really simple is naming specific documents. So what do you name your individual document, whether it's a PDF, whether it's an audio visual, whether it's a Word draft, what do you name it? The answer is simple. Keep it as the date first. And you have to do this in a specific way. It's got to be year, the full 4-digit year, and then either a dash or a dot. I recommend dashes. I think it just looks better. And then the full month. So if it's January, it's got to be 01. If it's February, it's got to be 02. Use the zeros. And then the day. So year dash month dash day. The reason the zeros are so important when you're naming your documents is that if you don't get the zeros in there, then it can get your documents out of order when you list them by date chronological order. So that can mess up what you're doing if you don't take the extra time to put that 0 in there when you're doing, 05 for May, or, 01 for the first day of the month, for instance. Now, one of the benefits that this does is it makes things very chronological, as I said, but it also makes things easy to find in terms of the most recent thing. So if you are doing a lot of different drafts on a particular document, it's going to be easy for staff or other people who are looking to then print something out to sign, or, to revise or look at. They can just pull up the most recent one. They don't have to wonder which one is the most recent one that you've been working on, because it's just right there. One question that we had to work through and kind of struggle with a little bit is how to decide what date to give documents that were sent to us. So if we get a document from an opposing party that is pleading or an order, we chose to go ahead and put the date that it was signed or date that it was entered by the court. Whatever that date of the actual document is what we name it, not the date we necessarily receive it. That would be a backup. So if we receive a document and it's something that doesn't really have a specific date attached to it, like a signature date or a creation date or something like that, then that's when we put the date that we received it. So kind of have some backups there for what to name your documents. Just don't make it complicated. Make it consistent. Make it the same across, all the different documents you have. If you're creating drafts, do it, again, as I said, the date that you're creating that draft so that you know which one's the most recent. So my 2 personal tips for this are: 1, save your documents so that anybody can find them. Anybody in your firm knows how to access the type of document they're looking for, knows where to find it, and isn't going to waste a ton of time unnecessarily searching through something or have to bug you and say, hey, where'd you save that thing? Or hey, is this the most recent document or draft? You don't want to waste time with that kind of stuff. So save it in a systematized, consistent way, and that's going to take care of so much wasted time. And the last tip is just to think about how you want your files to end up when your case is done and closed. So think about the end from the beginning and make it easy on yourself later when you need to just move this file over to the closed section of, your electronic filing system, or when you need to give copies of this file over to your client when they request it, or when you need to locate documents for, a future attorney who's working on some other part of your client's matter. Make it easy on yourself by systematizing this now. It's absolutely worth it. Thank you so much for watching this video on how to organize your files in the cloud and systematize your client files. I hope it's helpful. I hope to talk to you again soon. Please like and subscribe this video so we can keep working together on how to maximize your output as a law firm owner. Thanks. I'll talk to you next time.